All right. Now we're live. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Frisco Report with my co-host, Cowboys Corner. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, Joe? How are you, sir?
I love it, man. I love it. We are in the dead zone of the offseason, but we're going to navigate these treacherous waters with ease. We got a lot of good topics to get us through this. We'll be doing a lot of the pre-camp reviews, position battles to watch out for, and then and then by the time you know it, training camp will be here. So I'm pumped about that. Shout out to everybody in the chat box, everybody that's watching this on the replay. Pound that like button, baby. Good to see everybody in the chat box. See everybody out here. In effect, baby. In effect. Here we go. Soup Trap, what is up, Brofius? Mike, tonight's topic is the top 5 offseason moves for the Cowboys in our humblest of opinions, Mike. So before we get going, is there anything that you want to start off with before we get going here?
I just want to say, and maybe I haven't been keeping up with it, but I just want to say, shout out to Skywalker Steel. All right, the guy's coming up. Great guy, great content, guys. If you don't want 5-second clips of training camp, if you don't want the BS of YouTuber shenanigans, guys, go follow Skywalker Steel. Go follow Joe Rod. Joe Rod, Skywalker Steel are the only two guys I really watch if I'm keeping it 100 when it comes to Cowboys content. So I want to start the show off with a big shout out to Joe Rod and big shout out to Skywalker Steel.
Yeah, that's a great shout out, Skywalker. Great guy. I love his channel. I like the work he does. Very humble as well. So he's a lot of fun to work with. But yeah, man, lots to get into here. I guess we can actually start with this here from Ruben. I don't like all this trade Gallup. Let's keep him. Yeah, that's a good little topic. We'll go a little bit off the road here and hit this topic up because it is something that is kind of you kind of see it out there. Mike, what is your thoughts on all this trade Michael Gallup talk?
It's nonsense to me, dude, because they'll be on the bandwagon of Michael Gallup, and then they get the sniffles of trading him, and some people are like, yeah, let's do it. Let's trade him. And I'm like, what are you doing? You need – Amari Cooper works because of Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup works because of Amari Cooper. CeeDee Lamb works because of both those guys. You need a 3-headed wide receiver core, Joe, that Kellen Moore can work with, that you can mix things up. Michael Gallup, he's primarily outside. You can mix it up with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, switch it out in the slots. It's very important Michael Gallup's on this team, and it's very important that Dallas Cowboys try to pay him going into the next season.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think all this chatter or whatever you want to call it is just, people getting bored with, the dead zone period, which is, the end of June through most of July. We call it the dead zone around here. And that to me, that's what it is. They're not going to trade him. It makes no sense to trade him. You need him because you and I were talking about this offline, Mike, about, Amari Cooper has these little ding-ups, these little nagging injuries here and there. He'll miss a game here or he won't be 100% in the game, and it kind of shows up with the stat board, the stat sheet, So,
yeah,
if you didn't have Amari Cooper, at some point, hypothetically, you would have, Gallup and CeeDee Lamb, and then you're gonna have to figure out what you do in the slot, which I think is another interesting conversation. I think the wide receiver conversation is going to be really interesting as the season progresses, as we get into the offseason. We did draft Simi for Hoko. It's a 5th-round guy. I'm not anointing him by any means, but he'll be in the mix. But I would expect the Cowboys, depending what they do, whether they keep Gallup, which he's probably gonna price out of their what they want to do, Mike. So
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think you're gonna get some interesting conversation here. But then you also have what happens if Amari Cooper, is injured or whatever and doesn't have a good season. Do you kind of think about, well, let's keep Gallup, let's get rid of Amari, let's cut ties there? That's another discussion there because I think next season it becomes a little bit more of a contract that you can absorb for Amari Cooper. So it's going to be interesting around here. And then you have, the Cowboys taking a look at Tony Pollard in the slot position. All right. Which I think is low key very interesting because if you do move on from somebody, it's probably Gallup, right? If you do move on from him because you can't afford him, could you then look at Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and then Tony Pollard as your slot receiver? So I think it's going to be interesting around here next offseason, but we'll see how the season turns out. But that's a great topic there. Ruben, appreciate you very much there. Shout out to everybody that's joining us here live. Shout out to everybody there. Ted, appreciate you, bro. Big Country in the house. Keep him and get the comp pick. Yeah, I think you will get a good comp pick because he will. If the Cowboys are going to be successful this season, which I think a lot of us are hoping and believing, that means Gallup's numbers are going to be good. He's probably going to get a top tier contract, and that's going to give us the opportunity to possibly get a third round comp pick if he gets in that upper echelon of contracts, which could happen because Kenny Galladay, right, from Detroit. I think Gallup is better than Galladay, right? And Kenny Galladay left Detroit, went to the Giants. He's not going to do anything there. Daniel Jones throwing interceptions and fumbling and bumming the ball. But my point is, they're expected to get a third-round comp pick for Kenny Galladay's departure because of that contract. I think Michael Gallup can have that. He can have that, Mike, that sizable contract.
Oh, for sure. If Dak Prescott hit him in stride more times than he missed, I mean, Michael Gallup would be. I'm sure teams would be calling and get ready to give up a second-round pick for a first-round pick because the stats are there just to justify the deep balls there just to justify his end zone get up and grab the ball is justified. I mean, Mike McCarthy said it last year, Joe. Michael Gallup's a number one wide receiver, and I really truly believe that.
Yeah, he's gonna be somebody for another team probably. But Mike, let's get into our top 5 offseason moves for the Cowboys in the 2021 season. We're gonna go from 5 to 1. Okay, so these are in order. We're gonna go with the number 5, and we're gonna work our way to the number 1 offseason move in our humblest opinion. So, Mike, go ahead and kickstart this off. What is your number 5 offseason move for the Cowboys?
Yeah, the number five, Joe, is signing special teamer CJ Goodwin back to this football team. I like the way they utilized them last year with Bones Fossil. I want to see that continuity continue in year 2 with Bones Fossil as the special teams coordinator. I like CJ Goodwin's tackling on special teams. I like the leadership he brings to special teams. Our field goal kicker, our punter, and our snapper, it's all new. The only thing that's consistent, Joe, is CJ Goodwin, all right? This is the first time in many years where all 3 have been turned over. And CJ Goodwin is the constant that we need on the special teams, and they brought him back, and that's a big difference maker right there.
I like that number 5 right there, right out the gate, Mike. I love that because CJ Goodwin is not in my top 5, but I think that's a really good one to have in the list here because you hit on all the points there. So, special teams, Mike McCarthy has made it a point to improve that. I think when he came in here, that was one of his lists to hey, we got to fix this shit right here. This crap here sucks real bad. So, you talk about winning in all phases of the game. That includes special teams. You gotta have it. You gotta put them, pin them back. And you gotta have capable tacklers out there they're not going to shy away from it. And I think that unit is on the up, and CJ Goodwin is one of those guys. I think he's probably your ace there on special teams. You know,
100%.
good one there, guys. That's a good one, indeed. My number 5 is going to be the Brent Urban signing. Brent Urban came from Chicago, as you know. They're looking at him as an inside type of player, but he can also give you some flex at defensive end. So he's one of these guys that the Cowboys like here, no matter who the coordinator is here. They like flexibility all over this place, right? It's kind of what the Cowboys are. And I think Brent Urban, especially with that run stopping rating, for PFF, if anybody's down with PFF, I know some people aren't, but you look at that run stop rating, and it's something the Cowboys need, and Mike McCarthy, he's big into this analytics, this sorts of things. So I'm not really surprised by the Brent Urban signing, but I think he's going to be somebody the Cowboys are going to really be surprised as far as like getting the upgrade, keeping your linebackers clean, not getting blown up at the second level. I think he'll be a big part of that, and getting penetration into the backfield as well. So I like the Brent Urban signing. That's my number 5, Mike.
Yeah, great call out there on the Brent Urban. I don't have him in my top 5, but I like his physicality. I like his character. He's a real funny guy, almost like an Antoine Woods, but a better player, all right? And great. That's a great – I like that.
Yes, sir. What's your number 4 on your list here, Mike?
The signing of Neal, all right, the linebacker / safety. I like the versatility. I like how they drafted Micah Parsons. They got Jabril Cox, Keanu Neal. They're trying to revamp this linebacker core that was really suspect last year, Joe. Let's call a spade a spade. That whole linebacking core did not look good at all. I like how they brought in Neal here and the versatility there, because safety is still a question mark. If we need to pop Neal back into the back, we can. If we need him playing up front in the box, he can do that too. So the Neal signing to me is something that this defense needed. He's familiar with Dan Quinn, and he could be a leader and teach some of the terminology that Dan Quinn's going to use with these guys that are not familiar with it.
Yeah, that's the key to it here. And we are right eye to eye here, same page. My number 4 is also Keanu Neal. So let's go ahead and keep on discussing this edition, guys. Let's know what you guys think about the Keanu Neal signing. But Mike, yeah, I love this signing. It is another 1-year deal. The Cowboys, they protect themselves. This is the types of deals that the Cowboys are going to keep on doing. You know what I mean? Next offseason, another big ticket guy will be out there. Maybe Von Miller, somebody of this will be out there, but they won't get him. They go for these types of guys, 1-year deals, and they supplement it with their draft picks. So, but you hit it right on the head, man. When you talk about what Dan Quinn likes in the verbiage, this sorts of thing, I think you hit it right on the head there. And for me, you're getting an upgrade there at the linebacker position, and he gives you a little bit of that flex, as a safety, right? So they kind of use him the same way, to be honest, in Atlanta. Safety, but they moved him closer to the box, played a little bit more of a linebacker type of role there with Atlanta. So I like that pick, man. And I think that the veteran leadership there is something that they need on that back part of that defense, your linebackers. And hopefully that'll bleed over into the secondary as well. But I think they've done really well there with Keanu Neal. And he's packed on some muscle too. He's packed on some more body armor there in preparation for linebacker duties, Mike. So I do like that. I do like the Keanu Neal signing. Guys in the chat box in the comments, what do you think about the Keanu Neal signing? Is he in your top 5 for offseason moves? Let us know in the comments what you guys think about that one there, Mike. What is your number 3 move?
My number 3 is the signing of Dak Prescott. This is my top 3 move right here. The signing of the quarterback, the face of the franchise, Dak Prescott. No offseason distraction, Joe. All hands on deck. Did not franchise tag him. Went ahead and signed him, and included in the deal that he can no longer be franchise tagged as a Dallas Cowboy. All hands on deck. This is our guy for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. If we don't win, it's not solely because of him. There's other places, but We got our leader, and now all the stats, everything is set aside, and it's all about winning at this point. Super Bowl is on my mind with my top 3 pick of signing Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Dak Prescott. That's a good one too. That is in my list here as well. Not at number 3. I do have in my list, but that's a good one there, Mike. Dak Prescott signed. They had to get it done. You know what I mean? You know, were we going to tank so bad that they had a shot at Trevor Lawrence? They almost looked like they were. I mean, they looked terrible, bro. But then they kind of, stacked some wins together. They got out of range of those top tier quarterbacks. So now they had to make this move. You know what I mean? It's very risky business going with a rookie, drafting one. Although, they could have if they wanted. But I think they made the right move there. Go with the winning formula with Zeke, Dak Prescott. This whole, offense has the opportunity to be, top 3, if not number 1. I mean, we're that loaded there. But of course, a lot of this will be contingent on that banged up offensive line. So we'll see how that goes there, Mike. My number 3, let me see. My number 3 is going to be this. Let me get this typed up here real quick, guys. My number 3 is the
Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll, please.
Yeah, man. My number 3 is the draft day trade. Okay, and that is for Michael Parsons. So number 3 is my draft day trade for Michael Parsons. We are number 10. We moved down to number 12, and you picked up an extra pick, number 84, and you icing on the cake, you get Chauncey Golston. Okay, but what I liked about this move was, I honestly 100% believe that one of those cornerbacks was their target. They got that wiped out, right?
Back to back.
They got that wiped out, and I don't think they were going to go offensive line. You know what I mean? I think that Parsons was the next one up. I know they say that Parsons was their number 1 guy. I don't believe that. I think that it was one of the cornerbacks.
J.C. Horn.
Yeah, J.C. Horn probably. But you get Michael Parsons, and it was a need. Linebacker, one guy can't stay healthy. Another one had a very, very bad down year in Jalen Smith. I won't say very, very bad, but I mean, he just didn't make the plays that he did in 2018. You know what I mean? And 2019 for that fact. So Michael Parsons, revamping this defense, getting a linebacker here. Matt McCarthy has always had this type of linebacker presence in the Green Bay defenses, and I think that that's where he likes to build. From these guys, I think in Dallas he wants a better, fortified linebacker core. You bring in Kellen Neal, you draft Michael Parsons. So that's my number 3 there. And like I said, you get Chauncey Golston, who was the Eagles pick. So you poke him in the eye, we get Golston. And, I like him as a Tyrone Crawford. He'll be in the mix there, give some snap relief for DeMarcus Lawrence probably. So, you're slowly starting to see, the Cowboys revamp this defense. All right, so that's my number 3, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the draft day trade to get Michael Parsons from 10 to 12. Is that in your top 5 offseason moves? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat box, baby. Mike, let's get to number 2. Who's number 2 on your list?
Yeah, number 2. It's almost kind of like your number 3. It's drafting 8 of 11 players on defense, guys. Joe just talked about it right here. Revamping that defense. That's what we needed. We had to get Tyrone Crawford out of here. Obviously, he retired. We couldn't be signing guys like Aldon Smith or Robert Quinn. You got to draft defensive line. The Cowboys drafted defensive line. Cowboys drafted linebacker. They took care of the offensive line piece too. They drafted guys that Joe and I said they were going to go out and go draft. They double dipped in corner. They double dipped in linebacker. 8 out of the 11 players is defense, and this is what now all 8 can fail, but at least I'm seeing that they tried, right? At least I'm seeing that they made an attempt to go draft defensive players. They seen the need, they seen the depth, and they went and tried to go take care of that with the best player available on their board. 8 out of 11 on defense, Joe. I like that. That's my number 2. They're trying to take care of errors, holes, misleading mistakes for decades.
Yeah, no, you hit around the head. 8 of 11. Just to think about that number there. Just two offensive players, and that was at the back half, right? We're talking day three. Fajoko and Farniak, right? So
And ball 3.
yeah, ball. So yeah, eight of 11 there. My math not too good, but you know how we roll here. You know how we do it. But defense, bro, defense. Everybody wanted defense. A lot of the mock drafts, heavy defense, and that's what they did. You know what I mean? They really hadn't done this in a long time. So I think they're throwing a lot of bodies, but they did their research on these guys. Parsons has the potential to be, one of these high end type of players, and I think from what you're seeing so far in camp and so the reports that are coming out of Frisco, you're hearing all the good news. You're hearing all the good things that you want to hear from your first round pick, right? Competition at the secondary, Mike. I think this draft did pretty well there. You get Kelvin Joseph, you get Nashawn Wright. And linebacker, you add more bodies there with Jabril Cox, who some people think is a steal. I think he's a steal too. I mean, he was a tackling machine at North Dakota, right? And then LSU. So there's too much said about his run tackling and this sorts of thing. That those sorts of things can be fixed up. That's what camp is for, training camp. And getting coached up by Dan Quinn definitely helps. You know what I mean? Dan Quinn has coached some pretty good linebackers. So if you're a linebacker for the Cowboys and Dan Quinn comes in here for your coordinating position, you have to be happy with that. So great number 2 there from Mike. I love it. Drafting 8 of 11 on defense, guys. That's incredible. That is a number to really think about there. Mike, my number 2 is the hiring of Dan Quinn. So what I like about this move here is you had to get rid of Mike Nolan. There was no way in hell that you could bring him back after that catastrophe. I mean, it was a catastrophic meltdown on defense. It was just like these guys the ball would be snapped and they would just let people do whatever the hell they wanted to do. It was terrible. It was terrible. You saw the worst in all of our players, most of them. You know what I mean? You did see some effort there in some of the younger guys. I think Trayvon Diggs was one of the outliers. I thought he did a really good job as a rookie, throwing him into the Lions den. But Dan Quinn hiring Mike, I think he's high on my list because, the defense was really the biggest part of the Cowboys, last season. And it's kind of been not – I mean, they've been okay, with Marinelli that had up and down seasons, and then they're not getting sacks, right? They're not getting sacks. So hopefully here with Dan Quinn and this new program and new influx of talent, I think you can expect better things from the defense. You can only go up from 32 or 30. What were we? Last place?
32nd.
32nd. You can only move up, right? And I don't see us repeating that. So I like that there, Mike. What do you think about the Dan Quinn hiring there?
Yeah, I'll talk about it here in a minute, Joe, when you talk about Big Country and Ruben Jr. on the Super Chat, Joe.
Super Chat action in the house. Yes, indeed. Big Country. We need a veteran quarterback, someone who knows when to win and when to lose. Then those empty wins at the end of the year screwed us out of pits. Yeah, we do need a veteran quarterback, but they do like what they have been seeing out of Garrett Gilbert, you know what I mean? And they brought in a couple of bodies for trials that didn't really work out. So it'll be interesting to see if they do, in fact, bring in another veteran quarterback. What do you think about that, Mike? You think they may add a veteran quarterback, or are they going to go with Gilbert?
I think they're going to go with Gilbert. And you go back and you look at that Pittsburgh game. It's funny you talk about Pitts because Gilbert played against Pittsburgh, all right? And you go back and you go look at that game. He had some command in that huddle, Joe. I'm not going to compare him to Ben DiNucci because it's not comparable. But the command he had in that huddle, the little rapport that he did have with Amari Cooper. I mean, you can turn on that game and see what Garrett Gilbert did. He had a hell of a game. That's just something that you can't coach. So I like what Mike McCarthy's doing here, developing Gilbert. Don't let this guy walk out of here after you developed him. Let's keep him on here. Let's keep on developing. Backup Dak Prescott. I like the Gilbert being a backup. Number QB2, Joe.
Yeah, I do too, to be honest, as well. I like him as a number 2. I think he's got a good arm. He can string that ball. I think pretty accurate, very smart with the ball as well. So yeah, I like what you're saying. Command of the huddle, command of the playbook, and this sort of thing. He didn't screw around with it and didn't know what he was doing. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, he held his own with the pressure too. You know what I mean? Like, they were all over him, and he was still making some plays here and there. And that was a good game for him. So I think that earned him a lot of capital. As we get into training camp. Thank you for the super chat. Big country in the house. Ruben Leo Jr. Hit that like button. This is some good Puro Pinche Cowboys for life. Yes, sir. There we go, Ruben. Yes, sir. Appreciate you very much. That's just what it's all about. Yeah, pound that like button, everybody. Appreciate everybody that's joined us live. And if you're watching this on the replay, hit that like button as well. Thank you, Ruben. Appreciate you, bro. Dan Quinn, number 2 there. Yeah, what you got there, Mike?
Absolutely. So my number 1 is the hiring of Dan Quinn, Joe.
All right, that's your number 1. Okay,
this is my number 1. I mean, you see players light up during these offseason interviews, the mini camps, the OTAs interviews. You see players light up when they talk about Dan Quinn, how hands-on he is, how approachable he is. He's a player's coach. He's in the middle of it. He's not going to shy away and just bark orders. He's going to show you how it's done play by play. He pays attention to everybody. He's not tunnel visioned. Guys, this right here, yes, people talk about his head coaching career in Atlanta, but I'm telling you, there's head coaches that are just made to be coordinators. And Dan Quinn, he said it in his first interview with the Dallas Cowboy media. He's supposed to be a defensive coordinator. You can see it through the players. You can see it through just how the players talk about Dan Quinn, guys. It's different. I'm not saying he's going to be our next head coach. I'm telling you, this guy's going to be the difference maker from Mike Nolan, from Rod Marinelli. You're going to see some swagger on this defense side of the ball that we haven't seen in a long, long time, Joe. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a breath of fresh air. We got a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. We got a Super Bowl winning head coach. The pieces are coming together. We don't have former Cowboy players coaching this team up. There's going to be a big difference. There's going to be a big culture change in Big D. And it started with Mike McCarthy, followed through by the hiring of Dan Quinn, Joe.
Yeah, I definitely love the Dan Quinn hiring. And I think that's why he's in our top 2, right? I had him at 2. You have him at 1. And it makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? You had to have a guy in here that could fix it, right? And I think the pressure is on. We talked about this, way early on in the offseason as far as who has more pressure, Kellen Moore or Dan Quinn. And
it's Kellen Moore.
Yeah, you said Kellen Moore. For me, I say Dan Quinn because it's like all eyes are on the defense. Like, okay, we hired this guy. You said it, Mike. He's got all the skins on the wall, championship defense coordinator, and all this other stuff. So for me, it's still Dan Quinn. I think the pressure's there to that game 1.
Let's revisit that topic real quick, because you're saying the pressure's on. The pressure's on for Kellen Moore, and here's why. We literally just talked – like, if you look right here about my top 5 moves, it was Dan Quinn, drafting 8-11 on defense, Dak Prescott, Keanu O'Neal, and C.J. Goodwin, all right? C.J. Wood is a quarterback. So 4 out of my 5 was all defense. So they're going to take care of that. So I can – if I'm talking about defense a lot, that means something went wrong. So I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket and just say Dan Quinn has to go do this, right? I'm saying Kellen Moore. Let's talk about this. I'm saying Kellen Moore because you got your quarterback signed who's been with this team for 5 years. You got Amari Cooper, who you traded a first-round pick for, right? You got CeeDee Lamb, who you drafted in the first round. You got a steal in Michael Gallup. You got the offensive line, right? Kellen Moore has all these weapons. Dan Quinn has to be working with rookies, working with older vets, right? Guys that he's known from Atlanta, 2 of them that he knows from Atlanta, right? Kellen Moore, he's seasoned with these guys. This offense, I think Jeff Kavanaugh said it when CeeDee Lamb was drafted, Joe. It was 40 burger, 40 burger, 40 burger.
Yeah.
I really believe that 40 burger chant is now in full effect, coming from me, from Kellen Moore. The screens, the calls that he called was just horrific. Game-changing, killing, horrific calls for Kellen Moore, Joe.
You didn't like those play calls?
Absolutely not. And it's happened 2 years in a row with crap play calls for Kellen Moore. The pressure is on Kellen Moore. Pressure makes diamonds. Coal can crumble to dust. Let's see what Kellen Moore does.
Let's see what he does. Statistically, they were like top. I don't know what it was, top 5 or some crap like that. Like I think that the offense was still good, but I mean, even with Dak out and this and sorts of thing. But I think the offense will be fine. I think it will be 40 burger. That's what I'm saying. If you give him, some of this, if you let him handpick Keanu O'Neal, Kazee, some of these other guys, you give him a bunch of the draft picks to cultivate. Hopefully this will be better. I mean, it should be, right? I think a lot of us are expecting the defense to be
top 15 at least.
Top 15, right?
At least.
And is that good enough with the offense? I think it is. You know what I mean? But I don't want to stop at 15. You hear some people say, "Oh, all you got to be is mid 15 and we're good." No, I want to destroy people, choke the crap out of him like Kelvin Joseph. You remember that rumor? Kelvin Joseph. So yeah, man, I just want to smother people to death and be. I hate to do this, but I want the defense to do what we did in the night. I just want to, knock people in the face, man, and go into every game with the swagger. Like, okay, we're gonna beat the crap out of this, guys. We're gonna be on the road and we're gonna beat the crap out of you. We're gonna clinch the division. We're gonna clinch this. You're gonna have to come to our stadium and take an ass whooping, and then we're gonna crush you in the Super Bowl. That's the kind of team that I want. I don't want a team where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because even under Jason Garrett, even under Tony Romo's era, it was offense was good, defense was crap.
Defense
was good, offense was crap. We never had a consistent on both sides of the ball.
Right.
And if we have, it's been a long, long time.
Very long time.
If we can get some consistency on both sides of the ball, we can hoist a Lombardi trophy easy, but it starts with that offense to put up points. It starts with that defense giving the offense back to put up even more points, Joe.
Yeah. Great discussion, Mike. Great discussion and great look back as far as who has the more pressure, guys. Is it Dan Quinn? Is it Kellen Moore? Guys, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat box who has more pressure there. Mike, we kind of hit on this earlier, but my number one is the Dak Prescott extension. This was the franchise move of the offseason for me, because if you let him walk out the door, if you were to franchise tag him again, you would really put yourself behind the 8 ball. So what I like about the Dak Prescott extension is, you say yes to continuity, right? You're talking about continuity with the offense. Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, like I said, like we talked about. Now it's all about how will the ankle look. Guys, let us know what you guys think in the chat box about Dak Prescott's recovery. I think he's way ahead of schedule. You see the workout videos, you see him planting with the ankle. Everything looks good to me. So, they're being very deliberate with him in mini camp, making sure he's not taking any hits there. I expect that to be the same as we get into training camp. You know what I mean? I think he will do more snaps and this sort of thing, but you probably won't see him running around too much, with the ball. But number one offseason move for me, Dak Prescott extension. You sign him up long term, and I think it's a good deal for the Cowboys, for Dak Prescott. You're already looking at the numbers going up for Lamar Jackson, these other quarterbacks, that their numbers are coming up. By in another season or two, this Dak Prescott deal is going to be you're going to see the savings, you know what I mean? And then you'll be able to really spend some more money in other areas, which will probably be some of the guys that the Cowboys are drafting right now, in recent history. So you think about CeeDee Lamb, right? We talked about him and Gallup and these guys. CeeDee Lamb for me is going to be your cornerstone number 88. The 88s here in Dallas, for the most part, they stick around for second, contracts. They finished the career here for the most part, right? Antonio Bryant is probably the outlier. Parcells didn't like him. They shipped him out of here. But you think about Irvin, Dez Bryant, baby. I love Dez forever. And then now you have a CeeDee Lamb in here. So
I don't know about loving Dez forever.
I do. And I will forever, bro. I will forever, bro. I love Dez Bryant.
Debate that all day long if you want.
You'll lose. You'll lose. Guys, what do you think about our top 5 here today? Shout out to everybody in the chat box, man. Marvel and Group, appreciate you, bro. See you stopping on by here. We do appreciate you, bro. See you on Twitter all the time. William Mike, finally a change of defense. Quinn's defense draft. Our DC, the defense is on the back. Yeah, it's gonna be good there. Gerald Beasley, good to see you in the chat box, guys. Mike, that's what Mac could do. Keep an eye on Kellen Moore. Play calling. Yeah, that's a good point because I kind of said that on Twitter, right? Like, okay, that's your plan already. If Kellen Moore gets another offer somewhere else, I low-key think McCarthy was hoping that that Kellen would have got that job. But then you have the rumor that Jerry Jones was whispering stuff to him like, "Hey, stay here. I'm gonna hook you up, sucker." So who knows, man? Who knows if there's a little under the table manipulation, as Jerry Jones likes to do. You kind of saw that with Phillips and Garrett. Hopefully that's not the deal here. But yeah, man, good to see everybody here in the chat box. Like I said, we will be doing this every other week here in June. Mike, what's your thoughts on everybody getting ready for training camp, man? What's your feeling, bro?
Feeling is they got to build a foundation. This is Mike McCarthy's first legit offseason with the Cowboys. Cowboys will be back to some normalcy there in Oxnard, California. My expectation is through the roof here. A longer season, the first offseason for Mike McCarthy, a first legit one. No postponed training camp. He got 4 preseason games. Every other team besides Pittsburgh's going to have 3. So we got some. We're going to have the practice with the Rams. So technically 5 preseason games to get a good look at a lot of these players on the Cowboys. So really good things coming up here for the Cowboys. Expectations for me is through the roof with Mike McCarthy, through the roof with Dan Quinn, through the roof with Kellen Moore and Bones Fossil here. We need everybody working. I need leaders. Sean Lee's gone. We know Dak Prescott's the leader on offense. Who's going to be that leader on defense? That's another thing. DeMarcus Lawrence to me is not a leader. He's just a football player, a very talented one.
Who will it be, Mike? Who in your estimation will be the leader on defense? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know, Joe. I honestly don't know. Because if Keanu Neal's going to be that leader, he's this is his first. He's only on a 1-year deal where players listen to him, being on a 1-year deal. Will it be Trayvon Diggs? I'm hoping it could be somebody like Trayvon Diggs that can have some swagger to them. If I was on the Cowboys and I had to vote for a captain on defense, my vote would go towards Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs, man. I think I agree, man. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is just kind of one of those vet type of players. I don't see him as a leader. Now I do have the feeling that the locker room does like him a lot. I don't know. To me, he's maybe kind of like a Tyrone Crawford, a locker room guy that they love him, and this sort of thing. But as far as you think about leadership type of players on the field, right? I think Trayvon Diggs definitely has that in him to do that. You know what I mean? I think he just what he went through his rookie season, I think is going to bode well for him. I think it's going to bode well for him because you threw him to the wolves, the lion den, this sort of thing. So I mean, this guy is battle hardened already. You know what I mean? So he held up. He got interceptions, 3 of them. Had a couple of them drop. He could have had a lot more. Interceptions. So yeah, man. Could it be Trayvon Diggs? Will it be Keanu Neal? Soup Trap thinks it'll be Keanu Neal. I could see that. I could definitely see him being one of the leaders there, especially being there as a Dan Quinn guy. the Reaper. I want it to be Parsons. Yeah, that's facts right there, right? Like we do want that, right? If you can, ideally, if you can have your linebacker to be that guy, you're talking about a Ray Lewis type of guy, a Kuechly type of lead, like these sorts of
It's an impact. It's an impact player, man.
impact player, bro. Impact and with the green dot. You know how soon will Mike Parsons get the green dot? You know what I mean? So will it be right out the gate? I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, man, if he comes out there with the green dot. Just pass that torch, man. Let's get it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the reason why I talk about the leadership standpoint is because when we had Michael Bennett in here from the Patriots, he was our instant leader, and that's embarrassing. We were midway through a season with no leader on that defense, and Michael Bennett had to come and scream his poor little heart out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, it's just a shame that this defense doesn't have a leader. And in football, you need somebody to turn to that is going to guide you in the right direction. And right now, it's an empty space for me.
Yeah, you definitely got to have that field general. That's why we had General Lee. That's where he got the nickname, right? The general. You know what I mean? So who will be that next guy? You know what I mean? So I like some of those candidates. I love the idea of Trayvon Diggs being one of those guys, and I think he will, at least for the secondary. But Michael Parsons, you do want him to be that guy, and I think eventually he will be. You know what I mean? I think with everything that they drafted here, you're turning the page on some of these Garrett guys that are here on the contract. But, you know, Parsons, Gallimore.
If losing at chess, he won't be a locker room leader. He has to start winning at chess.
Yeah, the chess piece, right? He could be the chess piece that the Cowboys need, man. You know what I mean? That could be it there. Checkmate. Let's get it. Let's get it, guys. But Mike, I think that's a wrap for this one, guys. Do appreciate everybody that watched this here live. Appreciate everybody who donated with the super chats. Like I said, we will be on an every other week schedule for the remainder of the Dead Zone, which is the rest of June. And as we get, towards training camp, which will be, I think it's July 26th, somewhere like that, 24th, 26th. So that's where we're at, guys. But we do appreciate everybody here that has checked us out here live. All of you loyal watchers, we do appreciate you. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already.
Yeah. Cowboy Joe has my Twitter right there, _Cowboys Corner. If you follow me right there, you can see the conversation I had with former Cowboys James Hanna. Did have a conversation with James Hanna on Twitter just now. And then Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube, guys. Now, remember what I said to start the show? Skywalker Steel, Joe Rod, those should be your main sources for Cowboy content, Cowboy news, because the other people that like to clickbait you or just copy and paste videos.
Yeah, guys, we do appreciate you, and we will catch you for the next episode of the Frisco Report. Pound that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to get all notifications when we go live. And we'll see you for the next episode, guys. Peace.